Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel today. I am so excited about today's video. This is going to be a good one. We are talking about drugstore makeup and I'm sharing with you guys my go-to drugstore brands for each category of makeup. I don't know about you guys, but when I think of some of my favorite drugstore brands, I think some brands tend to do certain products or categories better than others. So for example, one brand is kind of my go-to for blush, one maybe for eyeshadow palettes, lip gloss, mascara. So I have come up with a list of all of the categories of makeup and I'm sharing with you guys which drugstore brand I think does that category the best. These videos are always kind of hard because it requires me picking favorites, which I don't generally like to do in my makeup collection. But now I'm feeling pretty confident. I did put all of these products on my face today and have to say, my makeup turned out extra good today, which makes me feel a little more confident about my choices. So I hope you guys are excited to see what I picked. I'd love to know what your picks would be in each of these categories, so feel free to leave that down below. I'd love to hear it. Before we jump into the video, a very special welcome to any of you that are new visitors to my channel. Very happy to have you here. I hope that you enjoy today's video, and if you do, make sure that you subscribe and also that your notifications are turned on if you would like to be notified each time I upload a new video. And with all of that said, let's get into this list. Alright you guys, I have got my list right here. We're going to put my glasses on. I know they can be a little bit annoying, but I need them to read, sadly. Let's kick things off with foundation. Now this one was a little bit tricky because I have a lot of foundations from the drugstore that I love, but there's not a lot of brands that I have tried a whole lot of foundations out from. But after analyzing everything in my collection now and what I have tried over the years, I decided to go with the brand L'Oreal. So these are two foundations from L'Oreal that I currently have in my collection. I love them both. I have the Infallible Fresh Wear right here. This has been a long time favorite for me. This is my go-to when I need something really long wearing or as a mix-in if I want to make one of my other foundations last a little bit longer. I love this stuff. I use it all the time. This is, I think I've gone through 2 full bottles. This is my 3rd. I'm already halfway done with it. This one right here is a little bit newer to me. This is the Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation. I really like this one as well. It's very different from the Infallible Fresh Wear. This one's more of like a natural finish, very budge proof, super long wearing. I can get like a solid 12 to 14 hour day out of this. This one's not as budge proof. It's a little bit more of a hydrating foundation. It's very, very liquidy and lightweight. It actually reminds me a lot of the Hydra Rescue from Estee Lauder, which I also really love on my skin. If you have really dry skin, I think you might appreciate the hydration in this one. But even beyond those two, I've tried other foundations out from L'Oreal that I've really enjoyed over the years. I enjoyed their Cushion Foundation back when I had that one. I've enjoyed their True Match, which I think is kind of an old staple. And I know that they have a couple of other foundation options that I have not tried out myself, but so far everything I've tried from them I've been pretty happy with. Let's move on to concealer. For this one, I had to go with the brand Revlon. I could not give the award for this category to Revlon because I just think this is such a good concealer at the drugstore. It is by far my favorite concealer, not even just at the drugstore. This is like my favorite concealer of all time. It does everything I want a concealer to do. It gives me really high coverage, but it's not heavy, but it's also not greasy in any way. It doesn't settle in any of my fine lines, but it also doesn't end up looking dry or emphasize my fine lines. I just really love this stuff. Now I was just about to pick e.l.f. because I think e.l.f. does concealers really well too. I love both of their Camel concealers. I think they're fantastic and a really great price. I know a lot of you guys love the e.l.f. concealers, but I had to give it to Revlon because I just think these are so incredible. Let's go with mascara next. This one was probably easier than any of the other categories, and I decided to go with the brand Maybelline. I'm a big fan of Maybelline mascaras. I have a couple in my collection right now that I really am enjoying. I have the Lash Sensational Sky High mascara. This one is really good. I actually think I like the original Lash Sensational mascara better than this one. In my opinion, the original Lash Sensational is one of the best mascaras at the drugstore if you don't like a clumpy mascara. If you want something that's going to give you really dark lashes, is going to hold a curl and give you good separation and a good amount of volume and length, that one's probably my favorite, especially one with the curved brush. I love that one. This one's pretty close though. I really do like this one. It gives really, really good length and it's not clumpy at all, which I love. It also wears really well on me. This one's actually a little difficult to remove at night. So I would even say this one probably wears a little bit longer, is a little bit more watery eye proof than the original Lash Sensational. That one can, if my eyes start to get really watery, it can start to kind of melt a little bit. This one doesn't tend to do that though. I also have this mascara right here. I actually just tried this one out for the first time. This is the Colossal mascara. It's just a mini of it, but I'm wearing this one on my eyes today and I was pretty impressed with this one as well. Really good at separating, pretty good length, good volume. Didn't leave clumps in my lashes, which I really love. I don't like a really clumpy or kind of dry, flaky type of mascara. For example, L'Oreal Lash Paradise, which I know everyone seems to love that mascara, but it always just tends to make my lashes look a little bit dry and kind of clumpy and flaky. Even though it makes them very nice and long and thick, I just tend to prefer something that's a little bit more defining, a little bit more separating, and Maybelline I think does a really good job with that. I will just say this though, I don't like the Great Lash Mascara, which I think is their maybe oldest mascara, the one with the green and the pink tube. I personally don't like that one very much, but the others that I've tried I really love. Next category is highlighter. This one I kind of waffled back and forth between two different brands, but I ended up landing on the brand BH Cosmetics. You guys, I love the BH Cosmetics highlighter formula. I think it's so good. Their eyeshadows are pretty good as well, but I think their highlighters are kind of underrated. I don't hear a lot of people specifically talking about their highlighters. I have two right here. I'm actually wearing this one on my face today, you guys. This is one of the most glorious highlighting palettes or highlighters period in my collection. Sadly, I don't know if this one is available anymore. The last time I went to link it, I couldn't find it, but this is the one that I'm wearing on my skin today. Look at that, you guys. This is not for the faint of heart. So if you like a more neutral or natural looking highlight, probably neither of these will be good for you because I think all the BH Cosmetics highlighters that I have tried have all been pretty intense. But I love an intense highlighter. I love the shades inside this palette right here. This is their highlight and spotlight, or spotlight and highlight palette, which if I can find it, I will link it for you guys. But I also wanted to mention this one. This is the Belgian Waffle palette. I really love the highlighters inside here as well. Now, if you have very fair skin, like more fair than me, this might not work for you because these are quite golden. Let me just give them both a quick little swatch on the back of my hand. There they are right there. These barely work for me when I'm at my fairest, but fantastic summertime highlight colors for me. And again, the formulas are so beautiful. And if you have more medium skin or deep skin, this one right here that has a little bit of orange in it, I can't use this one, but if you have a deeper skin tone than me, I think that would be absolutely stunning on you. I really like the bronzers inside here as well. All around, this is a really nice palette, but you guys, their highlighting formula is exceptional. Let's go with bronzers next. This one was also tricky. I'll probably say that with every category, so I hope that doesn't get annoying. I'm very indecisive, and I tend to think that my makeup has feelings. I almost went with Wet n Wild, but in the end, I decided to go instead with the brand e.l.f. You guys, these two specifically, I've tried a couple of other bronzers from e.l.f. I've even tried like a bronzer palette from e.l.f. that I've decluttered, but I did really love. I even right now have their cream contour palette that I'm currently trying out that I think is really great. But these two especially are fantastic. I think these are some of the best bronzers at the drugstore, especially for the price. I really like Wet n Wild's as well, but those, I think these ones are just a little bit better, and I think the packaging on both of these is better. Wet n Wild, their packaging is going to break. Like, you just need to plan on it breaking because it always will, as we will talk about or get to in a minute here. But I specifically want to point out these two today. I have their Putty bronzer. This is the one that I'm actually wearing on my cheeks today. I think it is fantastic. I love how compact this one is. I love the formula. It's nice and creamy, but it doesn't stay creamy on your skin. I feel like it kind of turns more satiny or almost sets down a little bit, which I really enjoy. But I also really love their powder bronzer in Forever Sun-Kissed. And if I remember right, I think they have a pretty good shade range for bronzers for a drugstore brand. Often drugstore brands I find have a really narrow shade range with bronzers. Sometimes they'll only have like 3 or 4 shades to pick from. Great packaging, really good price point, just all around good. And using this today was just a reminder of how fantastic this bronzer actually is. For the next category, let's tackle blush. This one was super easy. Very easy. I knew hands down what my favorite brand for blush would be, and it has got to be Flower Beauty. You guys, I love every Flower Beauty blush I have ever tried. I don't just love them, I love them more than some of my favorite high-end blushes. I think they're all fantastic. Let's just start with these two right here. These are their original Flower Pots blushes. I feel like people were raving about these about 4 or 5 years ago. I don't hear a lot of people talking about them, but they're still so fantastic. I have 2 shades. I have Warm Hibiscus, which has a bit of a shimmer. It's kind of a pink with a gold kind of glow to it, and Peach Primrose. I'm wearing a little bit of this one on top of another one that I'll talk to you guys about in a sec here, but I think it's fantastic as well. Really good if you're into powder blushes, and I think they do have 1 or 2 more shades than just those right there, but they're fantastic and very cute, by the way. But even more than I love those are both of these right here. I love these so much. I have the Gel Crush lip and cheek products right here. I love both of these as blushes, especially I like them on my lips as well. And then these right here are their blush bombs. So good. I'm wearing this one on my cheeks today. This is the shade Pinched. I tapped a little bit of this on my cheeks with the brush today, and then I topped it with a little bit of the Peach Primrose. Oh my goodness, they are so good. These ones smell amazing, which is important to me, you guys. I like products that have a subtle, nice, pleasant scent to them. I don't think these ones smell. No, these ones don't smell. So if you're sensitive to scent or you don't like products that are scented. These ones don't have a scent to them. So big fan of Flower Beauty in general. They are one of my very favorite drugstore brands. I think they do so many products well, but I think their very best product of all has got to be their blushes. Moving on to eyeshadow palettes, like this is the Mac Daddy of them all. You know I love my eyeshadow palettes. Of course this was going to be a difficult one for me, but I had to go with Wet n Wild for a couple of reasons. I mean, I've been raving about these palettes, specifically the newer color icon ones in the white packaging, for a good year now. I've been really raving about them. I feel like I talk about them a lot. I just think these are so impressive. So many to pick from. I have them all and I have used and tried every single one of them multiple times. So I have a good handle on how all of these palettes perform. I think they're all fantastic. This is the one that I'm wearing on my eyes today. It's this one right here, the Camel Flaunt palette. I feel like this is a palette that a lot of people might overlook. And by the way, the package is broken, as I mentioned a minute ago, and likely the other ones are shortly to follow. But I feel like a lot of people might overlook this one because it has a pressed glitter in the middle, which I myself don't reach for very often, but the other 4 shades inside here are exceptional. Let me just show you guys. Take my glasses off so you can kind of see the look I have going on my eyes right now. Pretty simple, but so beautiful. Great combination of shades. I have this one in my crease, which this shade reminds me so much. Let's just take that lid off. So this shade right here in the corner reminds me so much of this shade inside the Mini Biba palette, which I think is such a great transition shade. I know transition shades aren't that exciting, but it's just so perfectly peach and brown and kind of pink at the same time, and I love shades like that because they go with anything. This dark matte brown I have smoked out in the outer corner, and this taupe right here, you guys, is absolutely beautiful. It's kind of purple, it's kind of brown, it's kind of silver. It's so stunning. I love it so much. That is what I'm wearing on my lid, and that's all I have on my eyes today, and I feel like this is such a beautiful eye look. And even this rose gold shimmer right here, which I didn't use today, is also a really beautiful lid shade if you want to go with something a little bit warmer. So if you saw this one, you skipped over it because of that pressed glitter. I'm telling you guys, this is one of the best ones. I think it's so good. But truly, I love them all. And another reason I wanted to give Wet n Wild this award as opposed to like ColourPop, which was definitely in the running, or Juvia's Place, although Juvia's Place I kind of consider like, are they really drugstore? Because you can't buy them at every drugstore. But I went with Wet n Wild, not just because I love these palettes, but actually I think Wet n Wild has been doing eyeshadows better than most drugstore brands for a really long time. Now, not all of their palettes have knocked it out of the park, but if you guys remember back to the original Walking on Eggshells palette, that palette is so good. I think I still have a backup of this palette up in my closet somewhere. Like, I don't use it anymore, but truly, those formulas were ahead of their time. I don't think back like 10 years ago, any brand at the drugstore could do eyeshadows as good as Wet n Wild could. And I was super happy to see when these ones came out that I loved them as much as I loved that original. Let's move on to brows. This one was also very easy for me. I went with the brand e.l.f. I'm a big fan of e.l.f.'s brow products, as you guys probably know. This one might have been easy for you guys to guess. I just think they're all so good and so affordable. Let me just go through a couple of my go-tos. The Shape and Stay wax pencil. I use this every single day. More of like a prep step for my pencil to kind of shape my brows before I fill them in. Big fan of their $2 brow pencil, as I know many of you are. This is the best bang for your buck in a brow product at the drugstore. I've gone through so many of these. This one's in the shade taupe. It is the one that I'm wearing in my brows today. I also really love their Wow Brow. I think it's a great tinted brow gel at the drugstore, and I'm so happy that they came out with a slim brow pencil. This one's not quite as cheap as the $2 brow pencil, but it's still super affordable. I want to say this one's around $5, and if you're into slim brow pencils, which I currently am, this is a really good one. And for those of you that are into powders, they even now have a powder quad. I think it's pretty darn good. I'm actually using these 2 waxes to kind of set my brows in place today. And they even have a clear brow gel that I don't currently have in my collection. I ran out of that one, but that's one that I've repurchased several times. Really good functional brow products, especially for those of you on a budget. I think they do a really good job. For everyday use, I don't think you can beat e.l.f.'s brow products. Let's move on to lips. And for lips, we're going to break it out into all 3 different lip categories because this one was a little bit tricky. Heads up, I'm wearing 4 different lip products on my lips today. A bit overkill, but I wanted to show all of them off. So let's jump into first lip liners. This one is probably no surprise to those of you that have been watching me for a while. Gotta go with Milani, specifically the Color Statement lip liners. I'm such a fan of these, as you very well know. Look at all of these that I have. I know they all look exactly the same, but I think this is 3 different shades altogether. I have the shade Spice right here. Let me just swatch these for you guys. So here's the shade Spice. It's a little bit deeper, a little bit more kind of peachy brown or rusty. Then I have the shade 04 All Natural. This one's getting really small, which is why I already have a backup right here. This one actually reminds me a lot of Spice. It's just a little bit lighter in tone, not quite as deep. And then I have, last but not least, probably my favorite shade of the bunch is 03 Nude. This one just has a little bit more pink in it, but it's so beautiful. It's not overly pink, it's not overly dark, but it's plenty dark, if you know what I mean. It is the one that I'm wearing on my lips today underneath 3 other lip products that we'll get to in just a minute. I just can't recommend these enough. They're creamy enough that they go on easily, but they're not so creamy that they slip around or feather into your fine lines. They wear pretty well. While they're not the longest wearing lip pencils that I own, I haven't found a pencil from the drugstore yet that is extremely long wearing. I think these are as close as any get. I just love these. I think they're great. They sharpen easily. They're so affordable. I think these are around $3 or $4 a piece. I just don't think they can be beat at the drugstore. I felt that way for a few years now, and I still feel that way. As for lipsticks, I had to go with the brand Maybelline. I've been a longtime fan of Maybelline lipsticks, and not just one specific type of lipstick or finish, but they have a lot of variety when it comes to their lipstick, and I've liked everything that I've tried so far. Let me just highlight a couple of my favorites for you guys today. This one right here is just one of their like classic creamy lipsticks. This one is in the shade Romantic Rose. One of my favorite shades from them when I'm wanting to go for something just truly soft pink. This is so beautiful. This one right here is their Shine version. I don't know that you can still find this one. The last time I went to link this specific one, I had a hard time finding it. This is the shade Baddest Beige. It's one of my favorite lip products to reach for when I have something that's a little bit too dark that I want to just lighten up the center of. I love reaching for this right here. Beautiful kind of milky peach color. Great formula, super, super comfortable. Sometimes I'll even just wear this with a darker lip liner underneath when I want to go like full nude if I'm doing like a smoky eye. I'm actually wearing a little bit of this on my lips as well, on top of another lipstick type product from them that I love. This is the Superstay Ink Crayon, which I'm kind of counting as a lipstick today. Have a little bit of this on top of the liner and then topped with Baddest Beige. This stuff is amazing. It's super, super lightweight. It's not quite as thick and creamy feeling as the lipsticks are, but it's very, very long wearing, really comfortable. It smells like a vanilla cake mix, which oh man, you guys, I love vanilla cake mix. I could just eat vanilla cake mix all day long. I know you're not supposed to do that technically, but I am definitely that person that when I pour the cake into the pan, I deliberately don't scrape it out very well so that I have some left over to kind of eat afterwards. Am I the only one that does this? But I do love this one. I think it's a great lightweight formula that's pretty long wearing, very comfortable. I have it in the shade 15 Lead the Way, which is a nice kind of mid-tone pink. And I know a lot of you guys love those as well. Let's move on to lip gloss. This one was also very easy. I like that these last few were very, very easy for me. Gotta give this one to the brand NYX. You guys, butter glosses. These are very OG, original YouTube, but still the best at the drugstore, in my opinion. There's a lot of glosses that I've tried from the drugstore and really come to love, but I still don't think anything can quite beat these. When it comes to the price, how much product you're getting, really good simple packaging, the colors, they're so good. The formula is really nice. It's not too sticky, but it is a little sticky, and I do like my glosses generally to have a little bit of tack to them, because if they don't have any tack at all, usually they don't give you that really glossy kind of look. Just look at all these shades. A lot of these are duplicates. Probably my very favorite shades would have to be number 1, Creme Brulee. This is probably my most go-to, but I also really love the shades Madeline and Tiramisu. This one's a little bit more pink. This one has a little bit of brown in it. It's a little bit deeper than Creme Brulee. Let me just go ahead and swatch these on the back of my hand for you guys really quick, even though I'm pretty sure this video is getting awfully long. This will be really quick. So here is the shade Madeline. There it is right there. Oh, so pretty, you guys. This one's underrated. I feel like not as many people talk about this shade as Creme Brulee, and this might even be better than Creme Brulee. It's absolutely stunning. It's kind of brown, but kind of beigey pink at the same time. Oh, it's stunning. I feel like that will look good on anyone. This one is Creme Brulee, just a little bit more peach and kind of pink in it. There it is right there. It is a little bit lighter. And then this one right here is the shade Tiramisu, which is a little bit deeper and has a little bit more of like a true pink to it as well. A little bit more rosiness. So stunning. They smell nice. The packaging is really nice and simple. They look tiny, but you guys, I know I've said this before, complained about this before, but I used to really love the Milani glosses. I still love this gloss. It's really, really nice, but it looks so big and large. This only has 0.13 ounces in it. This one has 0.27. There is twice the amount of product inside the NYX gloss as the Milani. Can you believe that? That's just mind-blowing to me, which has made me love these all the more ever since I discovered that. So big fan of NYX for their glosses. They've been a long-time favorite, and the fact that I still consider them one of the best glosses out there, I think is really saying something. I've tried a lot of makeup out in my day, and those are still standing out as some of the best. I have one more category to share with you guys, and it is setting spray. For this one, I had to go with ColourPop for their Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist. I'm such a fan of this. It checks all of my boxes with this setting spray. It gives me a little bit of hydration. It's a little bit glowy glowy, but not overly glowy to where it makes my skin look too dewy or greasy, but it sets my makeup down. It smells so good. It doesn't break me out, and it's super affordable for how much product you get in the bottle. This has nearly 4 ounces inside of it. I think it's $14, but you can often find this on sale for around $9, which is such a great price for that much product. The sprayer is really nice, really good setting spray that I feel like would work for most people. Now, I don't consider setting spray to be like a necessity in my makeup routine, but if you are a setting spray user, as I now am, even though I didn't used to be, I don't know that I notice a difference when I set my makeup and when I don't, but overall it's just an experience I enjoy, and ColourPop I think makes one of the best. And that is it, you guys. Those are all of the drugstore brands that I think do it best. I would love to know any of your answers to any of these categories of makeup, if they differ from my own or maybe they're the same. Let me know down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I hope that you guys are all doing well. Let me remind you one more time, if you are new here and you haven't subscribed, or if you just haven't gotten around to subscribing, or maybe didn't know you were subscribed, or maybe you got unsubscribed, too much, Mandy. I hope you'll consider doing that before you leave, but that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys again for watching today, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.